What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Monday NBA edition of my DFS podcast. 6 games on this main slate tonight. Kind of wishing it was just 5. I don't know why they put the 10:30 Eastern game on, the Celtics and Trailblazers. Also, the Celtics have their whole team questionable, so we're just not going to really know the news there. Good chance they rest, a couple of their starters, seeing that they are playing the Trailblazers. They're already without Porzingis. It's going to be tough to predict what happens over there just because of, the late start. It starts an hour and a half later than the next game. So you could be put on an island in that game. I don't know what to do. I wish it wasn't on the main slate, but regardless, it looks like a pretty good slate. We got some good value. We don't have a ton of injuries to wait on, which is always a plus. Let's look to kick off the week very strong. We had overall a fantastic week last week, winning a majority of nights. Good time to get hot. It's tough to do NBA March, as we know, because teams just roll out ridiculous lineups. But hopefully we continue to run hot, riding into the MLB season. So give this video a like, subscribe. If these picks help you out, or you just enjoy my content in general, the YouTube is free. So just show some support if you want. I appreciate all of you guys for stopping by. So quick little update on the injuries. We have Trey Mann for the Hornets doubtful. Hornets and Pistons looks like a pretty good DFS game just because both teams stink. Asar Thompson is questionable for the Pistons. You got Devin Booker back for the Suns, so not much going on for Suns in terms of, guys to pick. Cleveland's still banged up. We'll talk about that, but nothing to wait on. Mavericks and Bulls, nothing to wait on in that game. Warriors and Spurs, nothing to wait on in that game. We have, we already know Steph Curry is ruled out. Raptors and Nuggets, an ugly game, 15.5 point spread. No news to wait on there. I mean, you got Bruce Brown for the Raptors questionable, and DeAndre Jordan for the Nuggets questionable. So we can go ahead and say that there's no news we're waiting on in that game. And then, like I said, with the Celtics, their whole starting lineup is questionable. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Do not be surprised if they sit a couple of those guys tonight on the road against the Blazers. So for point guard, I like Misic. 5,900 drop back below 6,000. Good match against the Pistons. Trey Mann, doubtful. He's going to be their number one point guard. He's been playing well, in this time where they've needed him to, ramp up and play more minutes. Averaging around 32 minutes over the last 4 games. Needs 29 fantasy points to hit value. Just looks good in this matchup against the Pistons. A lot of the time, you got to worry about blowouts with teams like the Hornets and Pistons, but when they're playing each other, it's only a 4-point spread for the Pistons at home, so not really a worry for us. The Hornets, stay without all of their guys, and they're probably not going to push any of these guys to come back anytime soon. They're 16-48 on the year, so guys like LaMelo Ball, Seth Curry, Cody Martin, Bryce McGowan's all out. So Misic is going to start. He's going to see a huge workload as their number one point guard. He'll be a third usage guy behind Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, maybe even a fourth usage guy behind Grant Williams. But he looks pretty good all in all. Had 10 assists last game. If he can run into a couple of steals too, he's not going to have a hard time getting to his value mark. Shooting guard, we're going to go over to Caris LeVert. He started I think it was last night they played back-to-back, March 10th. Yep. Dean Wade was the new guy who was out for them, so Caris LeVert started in his place, which is kind of surprising because they hate starting LeVert. They like him coming off the bench, but they're just so low on bodies now that, they just put him in the starting lineup. Did not play well. Only played 28 minutes. It was kind of just an overall bad DFS game. The Nets and Cavs. Darius Garland had a bad game too. I'm okay with just going right back to the well. They're 6.5 point underdogs because they're at home against the Suns. Not too worried about a blowout. Love the usage that LeVert's going to have next to Darius Garland. when you're starting along guys like Isaiah Okoro and Georges Niang, you're going to have, some high usage because those guys don't do a ton. Any of Darius Garland, LeVert, Jared Allen, the actual good NBA players on this team are going to look pretty intriguing tonight just because they're so banged up. No Donovan Mitchell, no Evan Mobley, no Max Strus, no Dean Wade. They just have limited bodies. If this game remains close, LeVert's going to play anywhere from 32 to 35 minutes, needs 34 fantasy points to hit value. He obviously has a great upside. We've seen 43, 55, and 44 over the last couple of weeks. So shooting guard and small forward eligibility, can play two positions, always a plus. Definitely targeting Karis LeVert on tonight's slate. Small forward, going back to the Hornets. I have 3 Hornets in this video just because they're banged up and they have a great matchup against the Pistons. Brandon Miller looks good at 7K. Hasn't been playing the best basketball as of late, but he's going to continue to see, either 1A or 1B usage next to Miles Bridges on this Hornets offense. And like I was saying with Misic, Pistons and Hornets, you usually worry about blowouts, but when they play each other, it balances itself out. Shit versus shit. Leads to a tight spread. So I really like this game tonight for DFS purposes, not for watching purposes, just for value purposes. Needs 35 fantasy points to hit value. He's at a pretty high floor. I mean, you know what you're going to get from Brandon Miller. It's going to be 35 to 39 minutes, and he should be about a fantasy point per minute guy in this matchup against the Pistons with the Hornets so banged up. So I like Brandon Miller at 7K. I think it's a fair price. He's projected for 36 fantasy points. He has, 40s to 50 point upside. So he looks good at small forward at 7K. Power forward, one more Hornet. Why not go to Grant Williams? He's dropped down to 5K. Should be starting, in the absence of all of these Hornets. So he's been playing big minutes. He's not a good fantasy point per minute guy, but if he's playing 37 minutes, you don't have to have that good of a fantasy point per minute number to hit value at 5K. He needs 25 fantasy points. He's probably going to get you at least 20, even on a bad game. And then he has, decent upside. He dropped a 41 at Toronto. Again, the matchup's fantastic in Detroit. So these Hornets just all look really good. Grant Williams at 5K is catching my eye at power forward. And then for center, Vucevic just looks like an unbelievable 8K guy tonight. Great matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. 8,100, needs 40 fantasy points to hit value. He's projected for 42. He's been very consistent as of late, even if he has a bad game. He's going to get you mid-30s in fantasy points, so he doesn't completely ruin you. 232 over under. The Bulls are at home. This game should be pretty good DFS-wise and just, watching-wise. The Bulls are a good enough team to, stick in this game. They're 4-point underdogs. Again, like I said, they're at home, so that helps things a little bit as well. Vucevic, obviously, the 1B guy next to DeMar DeRozan in this offense. Still, with Zach LaVine out for the year, we see usages going to DeRozan, Vucevic, and Kobe White. Any of these 3 Bulls, they're all like 8K. You can go to any of them. I like Vucevic the most because he's been playing well. A double-double basically every single night. You know what you're getting from him. He's consistent. He's solid. He brings 50 to 60 point upside to the table, making him just really intriguing in all formats tonight. That'll do it for this video, guys. Let's have a solid Monday night and continue our good streak. Until next time, I am the FD Guru. Peace.